Do we want to continue with that question?
I suggest not.
Okay, let's move on. That saves everybody's lives. Let's talk if there, you think, let's start with George and go that, well, actually, let's start with DC because we haven't talked to him much tonight. And this may be something off the top of your head. What can we do, or what can the council do to get Chapel Hill residents to spend more of their money in town rather than traveling out of town and out of the county to spend their money, DC?
Finding ways to make the town more affordable. I think that if we don't pay our citizens well enough in any sort of form, whether it be through the town or private industry, then they're going to have to spend elsewhere because it is too expensive. So we have to find ways to make the town more affordable, whether it be just general expenses, or when we develop new houses and general neighborhoods, if we make sure they're built sustainably and diminished utility costs, then that saved money can go into our economy and allow for those citizens not to have to travel out to Durham or Raleigh or what have you and spend their money elsewhere.
Okay, Amy?
I think that smart redevelopment in places like the Ephesus Fordham area, to put new stores in there where we can spend more of our money, makes sense. It'll cut down on travel time. We won't be commuting out into Durham. I know the mayor has often said that Dillard's is the only place you can buy socks, and that's not so true anymore.
It's closing.
So yeah, we're losing our department store, which I also shop at. So I think we need to look at ways to attract those kind of people back into town.
Maria?
I agree with smart redevelopment, but I think if people, to spend the money, they have to have somewhere to go and something to do, or something to buy. So we have to give them those places where they can shop, they can spend their money. A music festival for Chapel Hill would be a good idea, Mayor.
As a person who attended several town council meetings, some of our ordinances, our zoning ordinances, are inadequate, and therefore they don't encourage businesses to develop. We got to take a look at each of our ordinances and try to encourage people to open a business here, and as well as expand, encourage them to come and open businesses and look at the current situation with the retail. So I'm in favor of retail on that scale.
Thanks. Lauren?
A couple points. First of all, I think to take advantage of the tourism that comes because of the games and make sure publicity is out. Second thing is that we've gotten a really bad rap because of people being towed at various places in downtown. And both the town and visitor center downtown business are trying to do a better job of making it obvious where to park. As a fact, I think there is adequate parking. There's just people are just confused where they can park without getting towed. Until we get rid of that issue, people are going to be unhappy and not coming.
The simple answer is more and more interesting places to shop. You learn as a council member there really are very few simple answers. One that we're embarking on that people have mentioned is redeveloping a really rundown commercial area right now, the Ephesus Fordham area. It's going to have to be done carefully, but there's a lot of potential there. As someone who lives near there, look forward to new amenities. There could also be expansion of retail in downtown as well. With Rosemary Imagine, that's one of the things that Rosemary Imagine is working on, is thinking of new retail.
All right.
So I will just talk about downtown because I wanted to mention that there is a website called parkonthehill.com, I think it is, and you all should know, if you don't, that it's a myth to say that there's no parking in downtown Chapel Hill, and the sooner that we can quit telling ourselves and each other that there's no parking downtown in Chapel Hill, the better, because things have really improved, and that's a key factor. Rosemary Imagine is really very promising for re-energizing downtown. I would love to see downtown become a much more of a magnet for shopping and cultural tourism, and as well as dining, but I think there are ways to make that happen.
I think we need to continue to work hard to get more commercial and retail in Chapel Hill, particularly retail that would provide the kind of stores that citizens want. But also we need to be reminded that if we can't get retail in Chapel Hill, we should try to work with the county to get in the county. We get just as much tax revenue from the Walmart in Hillsborough while it's in Hillsborough, as if it were in Chapel Hill. So anything that's in the county, we get the same tax revenue. So if it doesn't fit here, we should make sure it comes to the county.
Okay. Lauren had asked for a little bit of rebuttal time. Does everybody have something they'd like to just take 30 seconds or so and say in general or in response to something earlier? And we'll start with Lauren and we'll then check with Ed. Okay, Lauren?
Okay. I actually had 3 items, but
Okay.
I'll see what I can do. One important issue people have mentioned about is transit. Public transportation almost all around the world is subsidized. Here we have local property taxes that pay for it, and in many other places, like things like Amtrak, there always going to be a subsidy, but they take care of such issues as air pollution, safety, and of course there's tremendous commercial development properties from it. Second point I wanted to talk about was consolidation of the boards. I think some people who are currently serving on boards are very frustrated, and I think council should communicate better on what's going to happen to them, if they're wasting their time or if the board should work. And finally, there's been talk about big box retail, and I'm very glad that George made the point about the Walmart in Hillsborough as being another source of tax revenue.
Yeah, because continued comments about bus and rail. When Maria and I and others worked for passage of the transit half-cent sales tax in 2012, that was money to implement the bus and rail plan for Orange County. The words aren't in that order because they're alphabetical. It's because the bus gets funded first. And that's the goal. The funding has already started out with a little vehicle fee that you're paying. The sales tax started flowing in July, and the transit system in Chapel Hill is actively working to figure out how to restore service in some cases that we lost some years ago, particularly adding weekend service and night bus service.
Okay. Sally, you have something you want to share with us?
Yeah, I just wanted to complete the thought I had about the Old Town Hall. That building currently is listed on the National Register. That means that if it were in private hands, the private owner could benefit from historic preservation tax credits. That's a great benefit to not to the town because we don't pay taxes, but that's a great thing to think about in terms of ever selling it. And I would be very interested in structuring some kind of arrangement where it could be sold perhaps through Preservation North Carolina, to get for someone to get the benefit of those tax credits. And I can imagine all kinds of uses for that building. Possibly somebody mentioned kind of low-income incubator space down below. Why not have the upper floors be affordable housing for workforce workers?
Okay, great. George?
That sort of fits in with what I want to talk about. With Rosemary Imagined going on now to look at what should happen downtown, I think we need a lot more office space, affordable office space downtown. We're getting people living downtown now. We have Greenbridge and 140 West Franklin. We'll have 123 West Franklin, and we have shortbread apartments and bicycle apartments. But we need people downtown during the day to support the businesses on Franklin Street. We need people to go out to lunch. While they're out to lunch, hopefully they'll go stop in at some of the stores. So we need those office workers downtown. And not only will it give vitality to the businesses there now, it'll bring jobs downtown.
Great. DC?
I don't really think I have any major rebuttals.
Okay, that's great. Amy?
My last comments would be to get back to the Obi Creek issue. There was one comment that the kind of the plan is there and is almost final. I don't believe that that's true. I know several members of the Compass Committee and have talked to them. They still have concerns. They're still working on developing their overarching principles for the site. The developer has come through with a plan. They have a very talented urban designer working with them. So it's a very good plan. The question is that the kind of plan that we want to see at Obi Creek? So I'd encourage everybody here who's interested in that kind of issue to come out to the Obi Creek meeting. That's going to be this, I think it's tomorrow evening. And you can, if you look on the town calendar, the town event calendar, you can get the time and place. I'd encourage you to come out and look at the plan and comment on it, because that development really has the potential to be very transformative for the southern part of Chapel Hill. So it's a big, big deal. Thank you.
Maria?
I think what I want to add is that we need more innovation and we need to let our imagination soar. We need to create an attitude of why not, and to listen to people who are down in the trenches. One of the hard things when I co-chaired the transportation committee was I wanted a meeting with the bus drivers, and that didn't happen. But I think the people that are busiest and struggling the most sometimes have the brightest ideas of how one little thing, if you changed it, could make their life better and easier. And we need to listen to them. We also need to listen to students and young people. So I think I'm excited, and I think we get very defensive about defending things we've already done, even mistakes. Mark, I think, said at the opening, it was a mistake to put something, Camelot Village or, on top of a creek. I think, okay, we made mistakes, but we can't be afraid to look at possibilities, at different possibilities, and study them. We may decide that would be a mistake and throw it out, but let's
Okay.
not stop,
Okay, well, that's really great.
Getting back to
Yes.
Amy's thing about Obi Creek again, there is a meeting tomorrow, 7 o'clock. It's at Extraordinary Ventures, and the entire community is welcome to attend that. Like she said, it's not quite final, but they want more people to express their opinion and what they think of the current plan. That's probably going to the mayor and the town council pretty soon. I want to go back to the issue of the light rail again. I said that I was against light rail, and I mentioned the Long Island Railroad. It took several years for that to economically be feasible. It actually lost money. Until that area, when people left New York City to move out to Long Island, the Long Island Railroad was losing money. Until the Triangle area gets maybe 3, 4, or 5 million people, and they're projecting it's a lot sooner than that, and they're planning for it. I'd like to see the figures, the texture back that up. At this point, until I see those figures, I'm against the light rail.
Okay,